Chase Elliott wins, and we finally get a clean Talladega race. Let's talk about it. Coming up next. What is going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, Chase Elliott gets win number 5 on the season. He does it in dramatic fashion. He made some great moves at the end of that race to put him in position to win, and he got the win. Also, you got to give a lot of credit to Erik Jones. Erik Jones gave him one of the greatest pushes I've ever seen, and what made it super impressive is he did it with a Chevrolet. We saw the Chevrolet noses had a lot of problems pushing other cars, but Erik Jones made it work for the last couple laps of that race, and he gave Chase Elliott that push to get him all the way out to the front and get that victory. Not to take anything away from Chase Elliott, but these restrictor plate races, these super speedway races, whatever you would like to call them, it definitely takes teamwork. And also wanted to give a shout out to Michael McDowell. He gave Ryan Blaney a heck of a push as well. The two Fords almost got it done, but at the end of the race, Chase Elliott, the guy that has had the best season, the guy that has to be the odds-on favorite to win the championship, the guy that everybody is going to be super just complaining about, just going to be super mad if he doesn't win the championship, most likely, because he has by far had the best season, gets it done on the last lap, or the last couple laps at Talladega. It was a really great race, and like I said, for the first time in a while, we got a Talladega race that didn't have the big one. It didn't have a ton of wrecks or anything like that. There was a couple of cautions here and there for some minor stuff. A lot of people complained at the end of the race because of the caution for Daniel Hamlin stalling out on pit road, but I don't really think that that was a big deal. I think that was a great call by NASCAR because that was a safety situation. You don't want to have a car sitting there on pit road for any reason. So I think NASCAR made the right call, especially given the week that they've had safety-wise. So I think NASCAR, and I'm not going to talk about safety in this one. I made my point clear on the other video. NASCAR made the right call there, so I thought that was the right call. All right, let's take a look at that top 10 who had a good race. The aforementioned, of course, Chase Elliott gets the win. Ryan Blaney has a good points day. Michael McDowell, another good run for him. Like I said, he almost pushed Ryan Blaney to the win. Ross Chastain, he hung around up there all day. He led a lot of laps, but he ends up coming in 4th. Denny Hamlin, who was up there as well, he just was too far back on that restart, couldn't get anything going. He was a factor most of the race, but couldn't pull it off at the end. Erik Jones ends up finishing 6th after pushing Chase Elliott to the lead. They got disattached, and, well, he didn't get the finish he really wanted, but he still got a 6th, which is a good finish. Todd Gilliland. Shout out to Todd Gilliland, 7th place finish. He's had an up and down year, but that was a great run for him, and he was up there the entire race, mixing it up with him. Daniel Suarez, he also ran good all race. Good race for him. Austin Cindric, didn't hear a lot from him today, but he ends up at the very end. He gets that thing in the top 10, so good run for Austin Cindric. And Chase Briscoe with a nice top 10. Chase Briscoe's second half of the season continues to be good, and he needed those points right there as well for the championship race to make that cutoff line. And also shout out to Landon Castle. Landon Castle comes in 11th. So that was the guys that had a good race, but now let's take a look at the guys who didn't have quite as good of a race. Start with Martin Truex Jr. He just wasn't, I never even saw him. He never even felt like he was in this race. He just sort of hung out at the back and rode around. Joey Logano at points was at the very front, but at the end of the race, he fell back, and I don't know exactly what happened, if they had some type of damage or anything like that. But Joey Logano had pace early, did not have pace at the end of the race. Tyler Reddick, he was up there leading at one point. He ends up falling to the back of the pack. And then there's Kevin Harvick, who finishes 29th here. Kevin Harvick speeding on pit road during the last pit stop, or one of the last pit stops, and, well, he went a lap down. He never really recovered from that. And also Brad Keselowski was another guy that sped on that pit road. He finishes 24th, had a really good car, probably could have competed, but he ended up getting his lap back, but he never could get anything going after he got that lap back. So bad race for all of those guys. And that brings us to the points situation. Let's take a look at the points. Chase Elliott at the top leads by 2 points over Ryan Blaney in second. Ross Chastain is in third, also very close to the leaders. Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, and Chase Briscoe is the man right above the cutoff line. Like I said, that 10th place finish for Chase Briscoe was well needed for the points because it puts him at a tie with Austin Cindric And he, I think, advances because he has like whatever, however they do the tiebreaker, he would advance over Austin Cindric as it stands now. Of course, we've got the Roval. Both of those guys are really good at road courses. But below the cutoff line, you've got Austin Cindric, William Byron, and Christopher Bell, as well as Alex Bowman, who would get a waiver, but he would basically have to win the Charlotte Roval. So there you go. That is a look at your playoff cutoff line. So we've got the Roval coming up as a cutoff race. Obviously, this would be a good track for Chase to make it 2 in a row, but also some of those guys that have to win to get in, you could see them going all out and trying to get that win. Like I said, Austin Cindric, really good at road courses. Chase Briscoe, really good at road courses. Those, even though they're right there on the cutoff line, tied basically for the cutoff line spot, you could see a guy like that winning the Charlotte Roval. So the Charlotte Roval is going to be super, super critical. Of course, it's going to be a cutoff race, but it's going to be very interesting to see who brings what and who gets what done at the Charlotte Roval. But we'll preview that next week. That's for next week. That's all I got for you on this one. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe down below. It really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will earn that subscription today. If you got a comment, question, or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section. I try to get to as many of them as I can. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.